What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Goose is getting his stretches in. Oh, you're such a good boy. You are. Yes, you are such a good boy. Yes. We still need to cut this off. I need to just cut it. The extra to his collar. Here's the four-wheeler. I have charged the battery. We're going to see if we can get it to turn over again. Maybe get it running. We'll see how this goes. But as you guys saw from the title and thumbnail, we had an unexpected visitor, and let's just say I've never really been confronted by the law before, and this was something that caught me extremely, extremely off guard. But before we jump into those... Wow, I almost died. Before we jump into... It's one of those days. Before we jump into that, there's been quite a few of you concerned that Zan has disappeared, and... let me just tell you, he hasn't disappeared. He has just been off the camera the last couple videos that we've made. He's his own person, but him and Goose, oh my gosh. I think Goose thinks he's a dog, and I think he thinks he's a goat. So, or did I say that right? Zan thinks he's a goat. Zan thinks he's a dog, and Goose thinks he's a goat. So they, yes, they get along very well together. But we have some other really exciting stuff. Let me show you guys real quick. Oh, here he comes. You two are crazy together. Absolutely crazy together. We'll see if I can get it on film here. I don't know what's gotten into him. He's running in circles at 100 miles an hour. Y'all, they are hilarious together. Zan was just chasing Goose, and now Goose is chasing Zan. For the most part, Goose does really good with the chickens. I wouldn't trust him out here by himself, but when we're out here with him, he doesn't hardly ever do anything. But check this out, you guys. If I can get this open. Look at this. We're up to 6 chicken eggs. Wait, no, those are duck eggs. We're up to 6 duck eggs. That's a chicken egg. Which we've only gotten 2 chicken eggs today. And maybe she's in here laying. Which is okay. But the duck eggs is what we're stinking excited about. So they're from, as far as I can tell, they're from the same duck that laid our last group. And she's laid 6 so far. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if she's going to sit on them again. If she just leaves them, we'll probably give them to Marie from Random Okie Farm to incubate, or someone else that wants them. So we'll see. Hopefully she'll sit on them and she'll hatch them herself. I don't know how that's going to go, being that it's in the chicken coop. We've also talked about Marcy and I like setting up another place and building another pen for her to just stay in, so that she's not bothered by the chickens. They might stress her out too much. And building her own pen so that she can hatch those chicks again, or the ducklings again. So we'll see what happens. I'm not exactly sure on that one yet, but we'll keep you guys updated as to what we do on that. Our pond is still holding water, which, I mean, isn't surprising. It literally flooded on that video you guys saw when we got all that rain. Yeah, this all flooded too. So Emerald, she's the one with the white head right there. That one's Jules. That one's Emerald. Emerald's the one laying again. That's one of her babies sitting there right next to her. Hi, Sean. Sean's our big male. And he is changing colors. He's starting to get white feathers. He's getting all sorts of cool patterning on him. Where's your other ducklings, huh? I'm sure they're all around here. Oh, yeah, they're over there on the other side over there. Doing what ducks do. We love it. They're so much fun, you guys. I love ducks. I think they're cool. And I'm glad we have this little pond that we're going to make way better, but I'm glad we have the little pond for them to swim in and be in. Like, they just absolutely love it. So, let's get over there. Let's take a look at that four-wheeler, see if we can get it to start. And I got to share the story with you guys of the game warden showing up to our house. So, where we left this four-wheeler last time is I was charging the battery because it was dead of us trying to start this. We got the new wiring set up, and it's working. As far as we know. We don't know 100%, but pretty sure it's working. It's cranking over, so that's good. So we're going to hook this up. I've put some gas in it. Our fuel line that I replaced, I put a new fuel line on it, and it's leaking a little bit, so I may have to change that out again if it's still leaking, and then we'll crank it up, see what it can do. Well, look at how much progress I made. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So it turns out the wiring harness I got was broke. So we're returning that, and we're gonna start over and try again. I'll tell you what, these little, these Chinese ATVs and the wiring harnesses and stuff, half of them work, half of them don't. This is like my probably 15th one of these working on, and I've bought new wiring harnesses for all of them, and I would say probably 5 out of the 15 I had to buy again. So I should just buy them in packs of 2, because one of them's bound to be bad and then I can return the other one. But yeah, kind of ridiculous, especially because you buy it assuming that it's going to work. So I got that all ordered. It's going to ship here. It's supposed to get here Friday, which you guys are seeing this video on Thursday or Friday of this week, most likely. Hopefully by the beginning of next week, we'll have this thing back up and running again. I am so excited for it, guys. Maverick is so excited for it. It's just going to be so much fun to take him. And he's getting older to where we can actually adjust this so that it will only go super, super slow, and we'll be able to start teaching him how to ride it. So he's excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's just going to take a little bit more time than it already has. So the game warden showed up to our house. Maverick and I had just got done walking down to the pond. We were looking at everything after the flooding, and we walked up to the front of the house over here, and the game warden met me right on the corner of this concrete over there. And I went up, introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm Crandall. How are you doing? He's like, good. And I was like, what's going on? How can I help? And he goes, well, I got a report that you've been poaching turkeys. And I didn't even know what to do. I was like, what? And I don't know if any of you guys have ever been confronted. I mean, even like a speeding ticket or talking with an officer when possibly you're in the wrong, or they assume you're in the wrong, or something like that. Guys, it is nerve-wracking. I mean, absolutely nerve-wracking. And for him to say that, I mean, that's a big deal. Poaching anything is like time in prison. Like, it's a big deal. And so I didn't really know what was going on. So I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, we got a report that on March 1st, you were down on the public land over there, and somebody saw you shoot into a group of turkeys. And he's like, do you know when turkey season is? I was like, yeah, it's in like a month, or just over a month. And he's like, yeah, so what's going on? I was basically like, I'm speechless. I have no idea what's going on, what you're talking about. Like, I was like, he's like, what, were you down there? And I was like, yeah, I go down there all the time. I mean, I do. I go down there all the time. I go look for shed antlers. If you guys didn't know, every year deer and elk and stuff, they drop their antlers, and you can go find them and pick them up, which is pretty cool. And so I was down there looking for shed antlers. And there's always wild pigs out there, which wild pigs are a major, major nuisance and a problem here in the southern states. And so they want you to get rid of them anytime you see them. So I always take a rifle with me, some sort of protection with me just in case. I mean, they're very aggressive. Most of the time they'll run away from you. But if I see one, you know, then we help take out and help the population. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I was probably down there. I mean, I go down there all of the time. And so I was like, well, how did they, like, where was it? Like, where did they see me and stuff? And he kind of said, oh, it was over by this area, whatever. And I'm going through my head, and I'm like, the last time I was out there would have been around that time, but I wasn't even really ever over in that area. Like, and I didn't shoot anything over in that area either. So something isn't right here. But, you know, you're talking with this authoritative officer, I guess. And it's like, I feel like I'm like automatically wrong. Even though I didn't do it, I automatically feel like, oh my gosh, I have to prove myself innocent, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever felt this. It's kind of a hard feeling to explain, except that it was terrible. Just total anxiety and like panic, even though I didn't do anything. And that's the crazy thing, is it was just like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? And I think the part that got me the most is that somebody would make up that sort of a story that I was down there poaching turkeys. And that is something that I would never do. I have never had an interest, never had a thought of doing. And the game officer, he's like, I see that you've bought like hunting licenses before, and you've bought turkey hunting, spring and fall turkey tags, you know, almost like making it sound like you've bought these tags, but you didn't end up shooting one. And so now you're trying to poach one. And in my mind, I'm like, if I was going to poach something, why in the heck would I go buy a tag? Like, it just did not make any sense in my head. But, you know, I'm like in the moment, like, I wouldn't say flustered, but like just so confused and kind of discombobulated, like what the heck is going on, that I don't really like make that recollection until later when I was talking to Marcy. But anyways, we had a conversation. We kind of talked about whatever went on. I said, yeah, I think I was down there. And he ended up saying, hey, well, I hope you're telling the truth, basically. I'll kind of investigate a little bit further, but likely nothing's going to happen. So he leaves, and I have to go to work. And so I go to work, and on my way to work, I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on? Like, this just does not make any sense. And so when I get to work, I start scrolling through my phone, and I find the picture, because I had taken a picture when I was down there that day, and it was dated March 2nd. And they had said that I had been there March 1st. So I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have any proof of where I was on March 1st? So I scroll through my phone. Sure enough, we were down in Denton, Texas, filming the flying video where we took our 3 boys for their first flights. And so I wasn't even in the state. So boom, perfect alibi. Now, oh my gosh, we're gonna take off. Hi, Zan. You heard me talking, huh? And you wanted to come over here and chit chat? You wanted to chit chat? So at this point, I realize all of this, and I give the game warden a call because I still am like in shock at everything that's going on, and if this is going to help at all, I want to give him this information. So I call him back and I say, hey, I was looking through my photos, and actually the day I was down there was March 2nd, and I was actually out of town March 1st, and I have basically an alibi, whatever. And so here's this information. I was like, I'm giving you this information because, one, if there is a poacher out there doing this stuff, then I want to stop them just as much as the next person. Like, that is not okay. And secondly, I know that there's a guy that his property butts up to the public land that oftentimes doesn't like public land hunters hunting that area because it butts up to his property. And even though it's legal for us to be there, he doesn't like it because it sometimes chases away the animals or makes it a little bit harder for him to hunt, I guess. That's my best guess. So I'd kind of heard that through hearsay. So I don't know if that was actually true or not about, you know, somebody calling and reporting things just because he doesn't want people down there. Zan, why are you trying to fight the phone? Hey, you bit me. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? So that was my insane, crazy experience for the week. I hope I never repeat that. He just, basically, it's been left where it's at. I don't think anything else is going to happen with it. Hopefully, if there is anybody down there poaching, they'll be able to stop them and put an end to it. It's good that people are out there watching. And huge shout out to the game warden for actually following up on a lead, even though it was complete bogus. And I was the one getting kind of screwed for it. I'm glad that he's out there doing his job. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was, oh my gosh, like I said, it was just a whirlwind of a couple of days getting all this stuff figured out and having all of this happen. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you guys on the next one.